eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And
we're getting closer to his return, and the closer we get to him, the faster things are going to happen. The faster the healings, the faster the deliverance, the faster.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh, yes, boys and girls, warm welcome to Crypto 7. My name is Chris, and Hex and Pulsechain are the only green bubbles in all of crypto at the moment. And if you're thinking, oh, but look at that little bubble, look at that little bee-dick bubble there, Crypto 7. You want me to get excited about that? Well, it's a lot better than being in all these other cryptos, which are on average down about 9-10%. So I'd much rather be 2% green in Hex than I would 9 or 10% red in Near Protocol and all these other cryptos, which are all red. I mean, you can see it for yourself, guys. It's up on screen. We're a live stream channel here. Uni's down 8.2, Dot's down 5, Doge is down 5, Aero's down 9, Pump is down 11, Bonk is down 8, Render's down 7, you know, and we are up, baby, up, and that's fantastic. And partly it's because there's a lot of money coming over the bridge now, which obviously people realize that when money's coming over the bridge, it's like Tether being printed and going over onto Coinbase. It's like USDC going over onto Coinbase. You know what it means. It means that there's going to be more buying into Hex and Pulsechain. So that's very, very exciting. You know what we say on Crypto 7? Please deploy the like on entry. I'd also say that it's possible that when Richard Hart did his famous tweet just before the conference that I read out and he then reposted while I was talking at the Pulsechain conference, I think it's worth noting that he was also warning us that there would be turbulence ahead and not to be shaken out of our positions, by Wall Street. And it's quite possible that we've got quite a bit of turbulence coming because we're coming into a seasonal period when stock markets are almost always red. For last week of August, first couple of weeks of September, almost always red, guys. Them's the rules. I don't make the rules. And we know that crypto correlates so very strongly with NASDAQ that it's a little bit difficult to swim against that current. But we understand what's going on. So is the bull market over? No. You know, is this part of the ebb and flow of being invested in crypto? Yes. Are the stock markets likely to have a red week? Probably. I think a lot of it is to do with what's going on in Ukraine and stuff. And I think that the market's waking up to the reality that things... I don't think that Zelensky guy looks like he wants to make any compromises at all to me. And I mean, if he's not prepared to give up anything, then I don't think we're going to get a peace deal. But that's, you know, I hope I'm missing something. But while I was listening to Zelensky talking yesterday, I thought, oh, this guy's not in the mood for compromise. There's a no deal when you don't compromise. Yes. Who we got? We got Crypto Mike's in the house. Fantastic. Lots of warm support there for Crypto Mike. Crypto Mike saying we could bounce and Ethereum could go to all-time high this week. It's possible. It's also possible that we are front-running the seasonal correction now. It's 50-50. I do think that we're probably likely, if we do bounce this week, we're probably likely to then come back again. Because it's very hard to buck this trend, Mike, and crypto is very much caught up in the stock market ebb and flow. But, you know, maybe Crypto 7 will be proved wrong, and maybe Zelensky will be like, do you know what? I'm feeling conciliatory today. I'm feeling like making a deal. And, you know, the EU will be getting in line as well. And maybe there'll be a deal and markets will like that because, of course, if we were to get peace, it would be fantastic. And it would be fantastic, as I've said before, for inflation as in less inflationary pressure, because there's nothing that creates inflation faster than war. I think most of Europe went into hyperinflation during the Second World War. Don't quote me. I wasn't around at the time, guys. I know I look old enough, but I wasn't around in the Second World War. Alan D. Hextralian Stew says, we are holding strong. We are. And like I say, you know, things were getting very exciting yesterday, weren't they? I think we went over... I think we went over 5.5, you know, heading up towards that pre-sale price very fast now. And I was getting excited. I thought maybe I'd wake up this morning and find we were almost at pre-sale. But of course, crypto markets pull back. So it's a bittersweet day, really bittersweet. But when you have a bittersweet day, because a lot of you will be waking up now, a lot of you will be waking up to watching my show. A lot of people do watch my show. Make sure to like and subscribe, and you'll be sort of frustrated that you're not rich overnight. And I was half expecting to be rich overnight, but then you've got to look at the positives, and the positives are, isn't it, guys, that we are green whilst everything else is red. So everyone else is crying, and we're like, oh, okay, bit frustrating, but never mind. I mean, being the top performing cryptos is a big deal, because there are a lot of cryptos out there, as you all know, and it makes us stand out. So if we are the top performing cryptos, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for guys who gatekeepers, the big channels are gatekeepers, to skip past it, particularly if they like to use crypto bubbles. I mean, we're very small now. I mean, I can barely see that hex currently on the screen. It's getting smaller all the time, but we are green. And anyone who talks about the crypto market struggles to overlook the fact that we are green, although I'm sure a lot of them will try, a lot of them won't be able to. And even if they are able to, people can see it for their own eyes. I love crypto bubbles. It's very visual. And as I say, retail will use crypto bubbles. Yes. Alan D says he's reposted. That's really appreciated. It really is appreciated. It's tough out there. Talking about being tough out there. Richard Hart reposted day one of the Pulsechain conference, which Matty Allin is managing. They are very difficult to do, those conferences. They are very, very, very much hard work. And we got good views for day one. And day two and day three, the views haven't been so good. So what I would say is, if you did watch day one, because I was opening it on day one, I now ask another favor of you. 2 favors in a week. I know, I'm sorry, guys. But for your bags, do also watch a little bit of day 2 and day 3. I mean, maybe just watch one or watch 5 minutes of one. You don't have to watch them all, but get those view numbers up, because investors do look at it. It's on the checklist of investors' checklists when they're looking at investing in cryptos. So inevitably, undoubtedly, some investors will have noticed that Hex and Pulsechain are the only cryptos that are green today. So they do a little bit of research. Oh, they've got a conference on. That's good. Next question. How are the views? Oh, day 1 was good. Oh, day 2 and 3, not so good. So can you please go over, even though I wasn't speaking on day 2 and day 3, maybe they should have got me speaking on day 2 and day 3. But even though I wasn't speaking, can you please watch day 2 and day 3? As I say, you only have to watch 5 minutes, and you've done something to promote your investments, because investors will inevitably be looking at that conference. As I said before the event, that's why I donated 2 watches. That's why I stayed up all night to talk at the conference, because investors will look at it. How are the views? And okay, they've done a conference, but how many views have they got? So it's important that people do watch a little bit of them. I think I was watching a bit of Nuclear Herbs, who's on day 3. Everyone likes Nuclear Herbs. Who doesn't like Nuclear Herbs? He's a very, very nice guy. So I'll have a little listen to Nuclear Herbs, or you can't go wrong. On day 2, we had Liquid Loans. Watch a bit of CC. Everyone likes CC. Crypto crazy CC. Watch a little bit of Liquid Loans CC. Day 1, some guy called Crypto 7. I wouldn't bother with him. There was a guy called Brock Pierce. There's a guy called Brock Pierce, billionaire. That was very interesting. That's what conferences are all about, as I said before, guys. It's about connecting up with people outside of our ecosystem, not using the opportunity to shill loads of Pulsechain KOLs that nobody's heard of, just to get in the good books with a bunch of people so you can do some token launches with them. Oh, sorry. There I go, being controversial again. Stop it, Crypto 7. Stop it. Don't mention that PDI is red again today. Oh, no, I've done it again. Damn it. We're going to have a little, what do they call it? A little sin tin or something. Every time I mention PDI, I'll have to donate. I think every time I mention PDI soon, I should do a donation to the broke PDI boys when Richard comes back and vents his frustration at them making things up as we were again a week or 2 ago. Anyway, no, I think I will do that. And as I say, I plan to stop talking about it soon. Well, you do. It's like when I used to win motorcycle races, I didn't go around, explaining that actually if I'd had better tires, I'd have won by even more, or, you are magnanimous in victory. And I'm not going to sort of like rub their noses in it too much, particularly the more red the PDI boys are, the less I'm going to mention it, because it lacks class, doesn't it? Talking about class, we always do appreciate some super chats. I never read out the amounts. They're noted. The amounts get noted, but I never read them out. I think that's classless. But I do appreciate the super chats, and I've put so much effort in. So if I've kept you away from the sell button. So, right. Who else have we got? It's quiet in the chat. Light up the chat. Crypto and Coffee. Crypto and Coffee is a very clever guy who puts in a lot of brain juice into the channel behind the scenes. I hope you don't mind me doxing your contribution to Crypto 7, but you're all very clever. You're all above average looks in intelligence. If you subscribe to Crypto 7 and you've tapped the bell, ring that bell button, baby. Sorry. Yeah, Crypto and Coffee. I got a lot of heads ups on things. He was the first to tell me about money coming over on the bridge. He tells me, if there's a sniff of news on the container ship, I get it first off Crypto and Coffee. If there's anything on the legal side, I get it off Crypto and Coffee. 5 times out of 10. 5 times out of 10. There's a lot of other clever people that also DM me when there's good news. And there's some people that DM me when Pulsechain hasn't gone up as much as Ethereum. And there's a Crypto 7, you told me we were a leverage play and we'd go up 3 times more, and Ethereum's up 3x to 3% today, and we're only up 2%. You lied to me. Oh God. Oh, I get that as well, but it is what it is. Check my pulse is in the house. Says smells like hopium up in here. Nice, let's go. You're not bullish enough. Yeah, I mean, for me, we'd all like to just see crypto go up constantly, but it's not realistic. And the problem is that when you do start to see that, and because we knew that retail was starting to flood in, then it does spell that we're sort of a few weeks away from the end of a bull market. So nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, particularly not in Hex and Pulsechain, because we know that there's some very, very excellent marketing about to come our way. Start to see the fruit of it in the next few weeks. Within the next few weeks, hopefully. Maybe we have to wait a month or so before we actually see anything. So if this is all over in a month, we're done, because marketing, as I say, is pointless in a bear market, completely useless. And in a bull market, it's fantastic. So we have to assume that Richard knows what he's doing. And one of the best signs for anyone who believes in Richard Hart that this bull market's got plenty of time to run is the fact that he's positioned the marketing to start to kick in the next month or so, and not 2 months ago. Because if he thought the market was topping now, he would have got the marketing in at least a couple of months ago. So them's the rules, guys. Yeah, we are close to the action. I'm also conscious that I think that because we've had to wait so long in Hex and Pulsechain, smash up the lights, guys. Because we've had to wait so long in Hex and Pulsechain, I think a lot of us think, can we just go up now? Can we please just go up now? And the truth is, we're not going to just go up. And I want to prepare you for that, because I see my role as sort of like helping you in the process. Has it been tough? Yes. Has it been tougher than anybody thought it would be, including Richard Hart? Yes. Are there lots of reasons for that outside of Richard's control? Yes, and we all know what they are. But that doesn't in itself give us any right to now have an easy time of it. And I think that as you go towards the later stages of a bull market, things get more volatile. And unfortunately, we are going to have a lot of volatility as well as a lot of happy days. So, I would hope that because we have been so suppressed that it doesn't take as long to go over the pre-sale prices, and that's going to inject so much positivity into the ecosystem. It's untrue. I mean, even last night I was super excited myself to put a comment in. Say, I look at all the replay comments. Say if you were super excited, but I was really excited last night. And so let me check. I have put my speaker on properly. Yes, I did. Okay. So yeah, it's a bittersweet day, but I'd rather, at least we've got some sweet. And I can't see. Oh yeah, I think I can just see Hex still as a tiny green bubble. I mean, okay. As I say, you're gonna trade places with Hex in any other crypto, and that does bring a lot of attention. Antonio, I don't know who that is. I hope it's somebody of above average looks and intelligence. I remind you of Idris Elba. Idris Elba. Yeah, okay. I hope that's someone nice. Otherwise, you're on a yellow card because I'm not in the mood for that sort of thing. Yep. Check my pulse says, haha, turbulence, hexagons, this is nothing. Yeah, well, indeed. But it's interesting. I don't think that crypto is going to go down much more than this. I think there's a lot of support. There's a lot of support below. So I think, I think this is a market starting to prepare for the likelihood that things don't go. Michael says, why does Zelensky need to give away anything? It's because of egos. It's because of you're dealing with boomer alphas and of an extreme alpha, and Russia, it's all about posturing. Michael Freeman says, what the fuck? Why does Zelensky need to give away anything? Because it's the only way. There's no way that Putin's just going to row back without getting something and being able to go back to the Russian people and say, look, I got this region or that region. They need to give him something, and that needs to come with some reassurances or assurances around free movement of the people, so that if the Ukrainians want to leave that area, they can leave that area and go back to the area that remains Ukraine. But he's going to have to give him something, buddy, and that's why. But this is exactly, Michael, unfortunately, why I don't think we're going to get much. I think the market's waking up to this now, waking up to something I think that Crypto 7 worked out already. As I say, delighted to be proved wrong, but Polymarket here, who Polymarket's never wrong. Biden was so upset that Polymarket said that Trump was going to win it by a landslide. I think they arrested the Polymarket boss for a short period and things. Anyway, a little bit of trivia. So here we can see that Polymarket is only giving a 29% chance of peace this year with Russia and Ukraine, and it looks like the chances have reduced by a massive 24% overnight. So I think this is why we're waking up to crypto down, and why the markets will probably open red as well, unless we get some news in the intervening time. We've got 4 hours until the markets open, but probably not. Probably they will open red. As I say, we've got this, we've got the seasonality thing, and so a lot of people are de-risking. They're de-risking into this and thinking, well, because of the chances of peace have reduced drastically overnight, according to Polymarket, who are never wrong. And so I don't know why that is, but maybe they've been, like Crypto 7, maybe they've been listening to Zelensky sounding very uncompromising. And so we wait and see. Somebody made a comment yesterday. I did like it. He goes, it said, it made me laugh. And I thought, comment of the day, this one. He said, this guy is full of himself, but his analysis is second to none. I thought that was funny. And I thought about it for a while. And I thought, well, that's kind of what you want, isn't it? You want somebody who's self-assured because he's made it in crypto. Self-assured because he knows what he's talking about, but can give you the steers you need, reassure you where appropriate and things. So here we're looking at the chances, because you do see the mainstream media like Fox and things saying, "Oh, Trump's going to get us peace, and they're gonna hug on Monday and things." I don't think there's going to be any hugging today. Now, this is one of those scenarios where I really want to be wrong. I would much rather be wrong and rich than right and poor, but I don't think, it doesn't look too good. And I think the market's just waking up to this. As I say, massive reduction overnight in the chances of peace in Ukraine. So someone said something. But if, I think it was Michael who made the comment, if Zelensky is coming to the table not willing to give up anything, then how are we going to get peace? We're not going to get peace. I think that Trump's first instinct. Now, a lot of people like Zelensky, particularly the ladies. I mean, what's not to like? Good-looking, fluffy little guy who used to be an actor, and now he's sticking up for Ukraine against the nasty Russians. I have a lot of sympathy towards Ukraine. But I think that he's a lightweight. I mean, very impressive individual in his own right, but not level to someone like Putin or Trump. Top world leaders. I just don't think he's got the minerals. I don't think he's the right guy. And I think that was Trump's initial assessment when he had to kick him out the Oval Office. Do you remember? 6 months ago, he told Putin to go home, get your coat, you're going home. And they just put him in a taxi and sent him to the airport. I don't think he flied commercial, but they did throw him in a taxi. And I think probably Trump then spent a little while wondering whether or not he could work with this guy. And unfortunately, Trump's first instinct was right. So a little bit annoying, a little bit frustrating. But this could all be playing out perfectly if you're in Hex and Pulsechain, because it's going to take 6 weeks for these marketing gifts to start actually arriving in volume. I mean, look, they might start arriving in 2 weeks, but in volume, enough people to have seen them, had a chance to go onto pulsechain.com and, use one of the many bridges that are available now. I don't know, but it's probably perfect for us. And if we are going into a cool-off period now, then that does confirm a longer cycle. Let's listen to Kyle Dupes from Crypto Banter talk about this. And Kyle Dupes is he holds Hex and Pulsechain, so that's absolutely fantastic. So let's listen to Kyle Dupes talking about the possibility now that we go into a 6-week cool-off period. And is that good? Is that bad? What does it mean? And does it mean we're still getting to Monaco, and when? So let's share this now and smash up the lights, guys, everyone. Let's do this. Okay, let's go.
But also in that Friday video, I showed how it's more than likely that you're going to have an extended cycle, which means if you put in a longer than expected correction right now, you just keep pushing the cycle out further and further. And I spoke about this months ago when everybody thought we're in a left translated cycle, meaning the cycle will go parabolic early and it will be a short-lived cycle. And I said, I believe this is a right translated cycle, which means if we do put in a longer correction, 6 weeks plus from here, and this is a confirmed local top, not a cycle top, then you can push this cycle all the way into 2026. And this is probably going to be a little bit of consolidation over here before later completing the cycle, maybe between 1,100 and 1,200 days. So bearish divergence.
So this looks to be more and more like the situation. It's not what I wanted. It's not what everybody who's been in crypto for a while wanted, if I'm honest about it. I do try to be honest on Crypto 7. If you appreciate a straight talking, honest guy who shares the truth with you. The truth is that if you've been in crypto for a while, we were all hoping to be able to take a load of profit off the table at the end of Q1, because Q1 after a halving year is always green. We were expecting big gains in Q1, and we were going to take a load off the table, and then we were going to enjoy the run. And then we were going to take a load more off the table by July, August, because it's possible the cycle could end September, October, November. If you're following the 4-year cycle, it could end as early as September, October, November. So that was our plan. It was my master plan. I'm sure it was lots of people's plan. If you were clever, that would have been the plan. It would have been a very, very easy ride. It would have been so easy. So Q1 after a halving year, obviously the Q1 just gone. Always green in the history of crypto. Jan, Feb, and March, guys. Always green. That's what I told you in the bear market. This is what we have to look forward to, I told you. We get to January, it's red. Okay, Feb will be green then. We get to Feb, it's red. March will be green then. March is red as well. So taking a load of profit off the table in Q1, looking at properties in Monaco, that's totally off the table. That fox is shot. So then we go to April, not much is happening. May, not much is happening. June, not much is happening. June, we start picking up a bit. Then we start picking up in July and August, and you think, okay, well, a good strategy would be to take some off the table before we get to September, because once we get into October, November, the cycle could be ending if you follow the 4-year cycle strictly. So now that's sort of done as well, particularly if you're in things like Hex and Pulsechain. less so if you're in some cryptos. But what we talked about yesterday is that, and I think it's a great metaphor, is that if you're in an altcoin, it's a bit like in a bull market. A bull market's a long process. It's 3 years. So technically, we started the bull market in January 2023. So it's a long race, if you like. If a crypto is a cyclist and the bull market is the course of the race, then it's a long race. It's a 3-year race. Now, Solana dived out of the peloton real early, and they shot off ahead, and they went from $8 to $296. And everyone agrees now they left the peloton too early. It was great if you were in Solana at the time. Even better if you sold a load of Solana at $292, because it now looks like it's going to be a while before it gets back there. So that was great. And then Sui jumped out the peloton later. XRP that jumped out the peloton, and they start to make big gains, but they're being a bit sucked up now as well, because as we said yesterday, it's 30% easier to cycle in the peloton than outside this peloton, and nobody can cycle 30% faster than everybody else for long. So if you pull out the peloton too early in an altcoin, it's trouble. Hex and Pulsechain clearly are still in the peloton. We're not even at the pre-sale prices. We're in the peloton. And I think that Richard is planning on us starting to pull out the peloton now. And there's evidence we are starting to pull out the peloton now, which is why we're the only green cryptos in the world. So Hex and Pulsechain have just started to pull out the peloton. This could be the perfect timing. And when we really pull out the peloton is when the free marketing gifts start to land on people's doorsteps. So technically, we're not out the peloton yet. If the free marketing gifts take 6 weeks to come, and as Kyle Dupes here says, we could be in a seasonal correction of 6 weeks. I'm not expecting to see Bitcoin below 100,000 in that 6-week correction. I'm expecting to see a lot of support around those $105,000 mark. So, we've not really got that much lower to go in Bitcoin. Ethereum maybe goes to high 3,000s or 4,000. So it could go a little bit lower yet for sure. But it's gone up a hell of a lot. And so, and can Hex and Pulsechain keep going up while everything else is correcting over the next 6 weeks? Probably not, particularly if the marketing gifts haven't arrived and things, but possibly. Or maybe we can just be the cryptos that stand out as the best that's available. And that is going to lead to a lot of people just chasing, like you run to high ground in a flood. We are currently the high ground. So if you're in any crypto other than Hex and Pulsechain, you're in a lot of pain. You might be in pain today because you went to bed and PLS was 4.057 or something, and you've woken up now and it's 5.2 again, and you might feel pain from that, but at least you're not down the kind of levels that a lot of these cryptos are. So in this stream today, we've talked about why I think that crypto is correcting. I think that the markets are waking up to the reality that, contrary to what a lot of people were saying, I don't think we are going to get a good outcome today. And as I say, I dearly, dearly want to be wrong about that, which would be nice. But even if we do get a good outcome, even if Crypto 7's proven wrong, and I'd much rather be wrong and rich, then I still think there's a chance that we have a seasonal correction. And so I think, as Mike said earlier, Mike in the chat, I think whilst we might see all-time high Ethereum this week, if Crypto 7's wrong and, Trump and Zelensky and Putin all do a big man hug together. If we don't see that, I think that could then be front running us into this correction period. Let's see if we've got any super chats yet. We didn't get any super chats yesterday either. I wasn't very impressed with that, to be honest, guys. Come on. We got to show. We've got to show we're not a broke community, haven't we? No super chats yet. Duke of Booze, good to see you, man. Good to see more and more people are having a go at streaming and things. And funny enough, one of the guys who I have given a Hex Watch to is going to start streaming. So that's really, really good. And another one, yeah, he's so impressed that he's getting a Hex Watch. He's decided to become a Hex streamer, I think. And so that's really, really good. So it doesn't always work. Sometimes you give away these things and you think, I want necessarily the most deserving people. I talk about a crazy Dutch guy I gave one to once, and I've given 7 of these hex watches away, and I gave one to this crazy Dutch guy who about 5 minutes later wanted me to launch a coin with him or something. And it's kind of funny, but yeah, anyway, where else have we got? Keith LA. Yeah, so Keith LA says the peace deals locked up. The only ones panic selling right now are liberals who want some gains. We will make more money than them. Yeah. So currently, thank you, Keith LA. That's right. We're moving now towards Doorway 2, which if you recall, Doorway 2 is the cycle tops in 2026, and you've just heard Kyle Dupe say he thinks we're in Doorway 2. Doorway 2 is better. It just means we've got to wait longer. If you can wait, if you've got a job, if you've got savings, if you've got some corn in the barn and you can wait till Q1 2026, then you should be delighted about this cool off. You should be thinking, fantastic, particularly as we've got container ships of free marketing gifts coming. We know that marketing in a bear market is completely wasted. So slow down, because it's no good as having the next 2 months as the insane blow off top, which is Doorway 1. And I said, there's a possibility we're going into Doorway 1, which means we top later this year, which means the next 2 to 4 months, we go mad. And there were some signs that might be about to happen. But there are market makers on holiday. There are bigger forces at play with crypto. And so this is perfect. And as I say, that tweet that I read out that prompted Richard to repost the Pulsechain conference about how you need to hodl. That's why they're wearing the t-shirt today, guys. Hodl. Any point you're getting value, make sure to like and subscribe. Put in a generous super chat. Thank you. So, hodling is going to be the name of the game. It looks like we're going into Doorway 2. Which, thanks very much, Antonio. That's appreciated. Yeah, I have clarified this. Antonio is saying, I thought you said a week ago that we would end in Q4. Yeah, I even said at the Pulsechain conference, I have changed my mind on this. And the reason is because exactly, can you clarify 2026 or Q 2024? Yeah, I will clarify. The first thing I'd say before I clarify is crypto is a rapidly moving target. So somebody that says this was my prediction a year ago and I'm not shifting anything, I have no time for really. I can't understand with the benefit of being able to look at the data and things. A week ago, I thought we were going to top in Q1 because of the amount of retail that were coming in. And I was starting to see signs that things were starting to heat up very fast. And I was shocked at how much retail was coming in. But now we have seen this correction in the markets. We're seeing this correction, and it's a seasonal correction. So that allows us then to go into 2026. Because exactly, presumably you were watching when we had Kyle Dupes on, but he's just said the point as well. So I'm now leaning towards 2026. Now, as I also said at the time, Antonio, 2026 is better for us. Unless you're in a desperate hurry to make money in 2025, unless you've got an expensive family holiday to pay for in 2025, then 2026 is much better because it gives us more time. And Hex and Pulsechain are clearly cryptos that are pulling out of the peloton late. And so the longer the cycle goes, the more that favors the cryptos that pulled out the peloton late, and the more likely that pulling out late was the optimum play in the end, and that pulling out early, like Solana has, like Sui has, is going to prove to have been a costly mistake, really, particularly for their fortunes in the last phase of the bull market. And as I said, we're already seeing guys that were shilling Solana in 23 and 24 switch to other cyclists or cryptos. And famously, Raoul Pal said, I've sold all my Solana for Sui, because he's thinking, I've got 30x out of Solana. I've gone from $8 to 292, which is about a 30x, I think. Yeah, 30x. at least. And I think that he's thinking, okay, that's good. That's good. I mean, 30x is good. 30x is good, particularly as the longer week crypto goes along. And I think he thought, yeah, okay, I'm gonna get people to buy Sui instead. So yeah, no, I think I've explained that. So yeah, I'm currently could change again. It could change again. Like say for instance, I'm wrong and we do get peace and we do get a rate cut next month, then maybe we could still top in 2025, but it looks highly unlikely now. I think we're going into 2026. And actually, if you're in Hex and Pulsechain, you should be delighted about that. And that's the good news. That's the key message from Crypto 7 today. If you have Hex and Pulsechain, if you don't have Hex and Pulsechain, then get some today. But if you have the core coins, you should be delighted with the way this seems to be panning out. So that's good. Let's take a look now at the chances that, because another thing I hear people saying, so I hope that answers the question, and thanks for getting the super chat ball rolling, Antonio. That's appreciated. Another thing I hear a lot of people saying now that Jerome Powell is definitely going to reduce the rates next month, and I think it's exactly a month away, just under a month away. 17th of September, I think, is the meeting. It's currently the 18th of August, of course. Polymarket's not putting it as definite. Polymarket is not putting it as definite, and it's up on your screen, guys. They're saying chances of a rate cut next month 72%. 72%. Okay, not definite. Not definite. Yeah, that's where we are. I think that a rate cut would be very, very significant because, okay, it's only 25 basis points in the grand scheme. It doesn't make that much difference, but it provides a beautiful narrative so that when people see crypto going up, it's because the markets have gone risk on. They've gone risk on because Jerome's reduced the rates. Everyone understands that. Even if you're just in TradFi, you understand that. Everyone understands that as the rates go down, markets go risk on, and that means they stop buying Bitcoin and start buying Ethereum. So when the rates come down, they stop buying Bitcoin, they start buying more Ethereum, and then they start buying the large caps, and then they start buying the micro caps. And the more the rates go down, so it's a signaling. It's a signaling to be getting into things like Pulsechain. So although 25 basis points, technically, strictly speaking, isn't going to make that much difference to how much money people have got to put into crypto, it's a signaling that the big investors use to know that it's time. They've got the money. They don't have a problem. They don't have a shortage of money to put into Pulsechain and other cryptos, but they want to see the macro signaling, the economic signaling that it's time to do so. And it's only time to do so when the rates come down. So that is a signaling that then, because it's still largely an institutionally driven cycle, and so they're waiting for that prompt. And so it is a big deal, even if it's only 25 basis points. It's a very big deal. And but it's only 72% likely. So let's hope that figure goes up a bit over the next few weeks, because I don't want to see no rate cut. That would be a bit. So I think that we're going to get very rich in Hex and Pulsechain, but I also think you've got to be prepared now. This is the roller coaster bit now. We're going into the roller coaster bit of the bull market, and because we are so oversold in Hex and Pulsechain, because we've had such a tough time of it, whilst that doesn't warrant us getting an easy time of it, whilst that doesn't give us any sort of right to any sort of right to a good time, it's likely that people will look at it and go, okay, so probably they shouldn't be this low anyway. And so it is possible that most altcoins have a rough time of it the next few weeks, but we don't. That is possible. I'd much rather see everything do well and us do even better, or everything does well and we do very well. I'm even fine with that. I've never got a problem with that. I I don't have a problem. I don't care how much the guy down the road earns, so long as I earn the money I want to earn. You know, I've always been like that. I mean, really, it's not. But I think in reality, I think it's probably going to be quite good. Yes, Vishal Patel says 63 people watching, only 17 likes. And yet your bags, you want your bags to go up. Comment of the day there. That is definitely comment of the day, because it's a reality. It's like, okay, so day 2 and 3 of the Pulsechain conference have had like less than 2,000 views so far. Well, that's just ridiculous. I mean, don't come complaining to me about the price of Hex and Pulse. In fact, anyone that wants to complain to me about the price of Hex and Pulsechain in the coming weeks, say we do go into a seasonal correction, which seems more likely than unlikely now, and Hex and Pulsechain don't go to the moon during the seasonal correction while all other cryptos correcting. Don't come to me crying, because the first thing I'm going to be saying to you is, well, did you watch all 3 days of the conference? You don't have to watch it all. You only have to watch for 5 minutes. You just want to get the view numbers up, because the investors are going to look how many people are watching. This measures the strength of the community. They want strong communities to invest in. They don't want to be part of the community. They don't want to be involved in all the nonsense on X and all the squabbles and stuff. They're not going to sit through any spaces, but they want to see that there's a strong community that they can invest in, because guess what you are to them? Guess what you are to them? You're their exit liquidity. That's the reality. Didn't know that? I'll tell you, come close. So a lot of people liked Hex towards the end of the last bull market because they thought these guys are going to be my exit liquidity, because they are so passionate. They will buy as I exit. And that's what happened for months. You had months and months to sell Hex at 30 cents. And that's because of the strength of the community. And so those same cold-nosed investors, and most investors are cold-nosed, guys. I've got to tell you. No, most of them are like that. They're going to go, okay, great. Look at all these people rocking up to a conference while the price of Pulsechain is still below the pre-sale price. Fantastic. That'll be my exit liquidity for the next bull market then. But this time we're a bit clever, aren't we? This time we're not going to stake everything. This time we are not going to, tie everything up in validator staking rewards and things on Pulsechain. We are going to make sure that we start taking some profit later in this bull market, but not yet. Not yet. Yes, can we have a like spike, please, while I have a drink? Thanks, check my pulse. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Naviant Steel says, bags up. Good. Yes, bags are up. Yeah, going into 2026, doorway 2, that now seems like the probability again. I've only changed my mind once in the last 2 weeks. I mean, I was already yesterday leaning towards doorway 2. And whenever I spoke at the conference a couple of days ago, I was back to leaning on doorway. I was back to doorway 2, back to a 2026 top. I've been 2026 top for quite a few months, and then when things started to look like they were about to go nuts, then I started thinking, well, actually, this could be 2025. Now, it wasn't like definitely 2025, but you've got to, if there's a possibility that we're going to top in 2025, you've got to start preparing yourself for that possibility. But now I think we're back to 2026. So we've shown some interesting things. We've shown that Polymarket doesn't think that Zelensky and Putin are going to be hugging today. We've shown that Polymarket thinks there's only a 72% chance of a rate cut, but a lot of mainstream media seem to be, and a lot of crypto, a lot of big channels, you probably heard the big channels are saying, oh, we're definitely getting a rate cut. Well, bit of hopium there. There's 72% chance, guys. Them's the rules. What else? Be interesting to see if the institutions buy Ethereum today. I'm not sure they will. If they do, I mean, say for instance, and as I say, this could happen, BlackRock could decide they don't want, because you see the situation we're in at the moment, and this is one of the reasons I don't think the bull market can possibly be over, is the big banks, institutions have signaled that Ethereum's going to 10K plus. Which means they've told all their friends to buy Ethereum because they're going to take it to 10K plus. Okay. BlackRock, Standard Charter, all these guys have signaled that they expect Ethereum to go up a lot in 2025 as well. So what might happen today is that BlackRock wants to continue the positivity in Ethereum, and they'll make a $500 million play into Ethereum today. Might happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could happen. We shall see. I give that maybe a 25% chance, but it could happen. And that might keep the altcoin season, might keep the altcoin market alive. So Bitcoin continues to correct to 110, 105, but the alts continue to go up. That could happen. Don't know. We shall have to see. Let's see if there's anything else that that will go, and then I'll go because we only had one super chat today. So, I think that's fair. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think that's all I need to cover with you today. We've covered it all, guys. We've covered it all. Thank you very much, Antonio, for the super chat. You're the only guy that appreciated the long hours I'm doing today. That's fine. Hopefully, we'll get some more tomorrow. This is what we say. Well, the super chats keep coming. I'll keep talking, but if nobody values the channel, then I'll keep it shorter, and everyone can get on with their day. So it's a win-win. All right, then, guys. Thanks very much. Bye.